By everyone, the bull, I assume you mean yourself and me. Welcome back. There's a fly in this room potentially, and that's gonna be annoying, but oh well. Alright, I did a little stuff today. Not much. Not much today, but I did a little bit. Turn this monitor off. What did I do? What did I do? Oh, there it is. Fucker. Damn fly. Trying to kill it. Oh, it likes my lights. Alright. Hit the fly. Ooh, I think I got the fly. I think I hit it. I think I hit it with a rolled up shirt. Hopefully I hit it long enough that it's just... Oh, there it is. I see it. Now I need to get rid of it. I need this. Oh, it's still alive. Oh, it's still alive. Is it dead? Can't tell. I don't know where it is. I swear I got it like 3 times. It's dark in this room. It's not very bright. I've got 2 LED lights, the streaming lights on, but they're at their dimmest settings. And if it is there, it's down somewhere in the... If it is there, it's down somewhere in the shadows. I can't see it. Damn flies. Oh, hi, William. It says there's only 1 viewer, but I guess it doesn't know. It has no idea how many viewers there are. Alright. So, hopefully the fly's dead on the ground somewhere and the spider will go eat it. Yeah, straight up. Alright, what was I doing? Oh yes, dictionaries. So I have dictionaries working to some degree where you can add key values. I was thinking about how to do this, and I've been running into insects enough ASMR. Is that a niche thing? I'm monetized now, so maybe that's my new... I can transition to a different type of stream. Let's see. I was thinking about how to show dictionaries, and I think I'm going to do them slightly different than before. Also, I've been doing inheritance and interfaces, and I keep forgetting the word interface, where I should organize this, where a module scriptable object, well, I guess item objects, has the I have UID and I have dictionary interface. Module scriptable objects, these inherit from that, and so this is where things like try get value, or where is it? Try get value. Where is it? Oh yeah, up here. Try get value happens. So you can try get value for the key value, and it will get you the key value. And I guess I should well, I guess I'm gonna have to add different. That's probably fine actually. I don't know what's. I was just talking where I was messaging Jason. He had messaged me last night. I just saw the message now, and I was saying how one of my big things is I never know what is resource intensive and what isn't. And I was all of a sudden thinking, oh, I need to make a version of this for every type of value you can get out of the key value, because that would be faster than returning the entire key value object and then going from there. And I was like, maybe it's not, though. I have no idea. I don't know what takes up the most resources. So I need to stop asking that question as much, because I think it stops me from trying out cool things. Just my thinking there. So anyway, so I can add stuff. So new key, and you can add it just to 1, or if you hold shift, then I'll add it to 1 and all the others. And you can undo as well. So that's cool. And then I also now need to show the keys the keys. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to show the keys and the values that are turned on with an option to expand to show all values that will allow you to turn on and off specific values. Just expose them. They're all there. They're always there. Like every single one has all these different values, but whether it shows up here requires them to be turned on. I'm going to make sure, I think in my dictionary itself, key value, yes, has a bool for each one is whether we're showing it. So that's what that says there. So on the module scriptable object, this is where we're doing the all the show stuff. So add dictionary key is part of show dictionary. So we're not doing all this. This is just... So instead, underneath show dictionary, this is the add section. So I'm actually going to move this out and call this public. Actually, it can be private. Void show dictionary add. And what do I need? I need object name and object type. Now, I wonder, I guess I must need it. And this is because this doesn't have access to the things that inherit from it. Yeah. So this was the code that Jason helped me with last night. Whoops. This generics. It looks like I don't need the dictionary. So I'll exclude that. Okay, and then this right here. Keep that as organized, and then this one, I will say show dictionary add. Okay, we'll type in object name, object type, and object. Uppercase object. Okay. And then now everything else will be under that. And this is where we're going to show our keys. I suppose it would be nice to show them in alphabetical order. So that'll be a job for Link, I suppose. And so now we'll do okay, so this will be for Well, shoot. I could alphabetize it as I go. Okay, so we could say, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe I'll build an alphabetized option for a different thing. But for now, we won't worry about this. So we'll do for int I equals 0. I is less than dictionary dot why can't I grab my dictionary? Oh, I guess I do need to pass the dictionary here. All right, dictionary string object name. So here then I will need to pass this dictionary. Okay, dot key values dot count plus plus. So for each one, we are going to hi Micah, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream of me saying a lot. All right, for this one, we're gonna go with thank you. I'm glad you think so. Makes me feel good because there are a lot of people who are much more awesome than me. So thank you. For this one, we are going to say key value equals dictionary.key values I. Let's cache that in the key. So text, this is my own text thing. Text field, actually key value dot key equals text field key value dot key delayed text field delayed text key and width we'll say 180. What? That's why. Color coding helped. Purple, I should have noticed that sooner, in fact. And then we need to store the temp key value, so we'll say var temp key value equals key value dot key, and then we'll do here if temp key value does not equal key value dot key, then we will attempt to automatically update it. So we will do if dictionary dot key values dot where key x dot key equals key value dot key dot count is greater than 1. So basically what this is doing, so it's taking the key values list. Using link, it's saying make a new list where for each entry x, x.key equals key value.key. And if the count of that new list or new IEnumerable is greater than 1, then we want to say key value.key is equal to temp key value, and then do debug.log warning saying there is already a key named key value.key. So we'll put this warning before we change it back, otherwise it will say the wrong thing. So this just changes it back. Yeah. And then we're actually going to start a row here. Yeah, so start row, and then we'll do an end row down here. But in the middle part, right here, to the right of that, we're going to show the list of values available. So that's very similar to this section. So if I put this here, and put this here, because we're going to do those two. Okay. That's all I really need. Alright, so we're going to do private void show dictionary float, and we're going to pass in key value, key value. We'll see if this works. And then we're going to say at the start, if key value dot show float return. So if not show float, then return. Otherwise, we will show the float, and we will say key value dot float value float equals float. I don't know, float, and then key value dot float value float. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that for all of those. So show value float, show dictionary float, and pass in key value. Okay, and we need to add one more thing too. Okay, I think what I'll do, instead of putting this label here, I think it would look better if I do label gray, oops, and just do float to the side of that, and then make this width 100. See if that looks okay. Okay. And let's just do a couple more of these. So we'll do float, int, string, and bool. So show int, show string, show bool. I wonder if there's a way to do this with generics. Hi, Paul. There might be, but there are changes that have to happen for each one. Value int. So I think it would be difficult. Int string bool show bool value bool equals left check. I think just check would work. Cool. All right, and then I gotta spit these out up here too. I need to fix my posture. There's a spot in my back that's not feeling good. I think it's not because of my fancy chair, because of the way I sit in my fancy chair. Well, maybe I should take some time to tighten my fancy chair. All right, so let's see what this looks like. I think this is going to be in the middle rather than at the top. Oh. We need to start vertical and end vertical. We want these stacked. And then for each one of these, start row and then end row. Or I wonder if it's easier to do it up here. Nah. Probably easier down here. All right, let's see if that works. All right, good. Oh, and that's at the top. That's nice. So not all of these are going to show, of course. In most cases, things will just be one type. It's not too common in my experience so far working with this to have more than one type exposed. It is possible, and you could easily make use of that in various ways, but I haven't used it much in that way. So now we want the ability to expand and show more and show less. And so I think what I will do is do a button in front of the key value part. And I'm going to test this out, test 2. There's already test 3. I can do that. Okay. Test. Okay. And then a little square right here, which is going to be oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Key values. What do we have here? Oh, show string as text box. That's an interesting. I need to remember to make use of that. That was helpful when you wanted to have a string but have a longer text to show it as a text box. Okay, I'm gonna add a new bool here, and we're gonna call this show all types, value types. And back on our object here, we will do background color key value dot show if that, then color dot white, otherwise color dot black. Just say color dot white for after, and then do button if button that, then do something, then key value dot show all value types equals not key value dot show all value types, and undo dot record object key value, and undo show all value types toggle, and this is actually going to be object. And I have a bug bite. I got it this morning, and it has been itching all day. Bug bites, by the way, if you didn't know this, hot water gets rid of bug bites, or at least stops them itching for like 12 hours. It has to be really hot to where you might burn yourself, so do this at your own risk. But if you like heat up some water, or if your hot water from your tap gets really, really hot, dab super hot water on your bug bite. It'll kind of get really itchy for a little bit while you're doing it, but after like 3 or 4 rounds of 5 dabs, and maybe at the end, if you can bear it, hold it for a little bit, for a few seconds, the itch will go away. And if you get early enough, the whole bite might go away. I learned that in Hawaii when I was in the jungle years ago. So, you're welcome. Are these actual errors, or has Unity just not caught up? Unity just didn't catch up. Alright, so what we're going to do is remember to turn the color off earlier. Not down there, right after the button. And oh, the fly's still alive. Oh my gosh. Alright, it's on my LED thing. It likes the light. How is it still alive after all this? Okay. Oh, I definitely got it that time. I held the LED gently while I smacked the fly. But the shitty part is I smacked it towards my bed. So now there's probably a dead fly on my bed. My gosh. I have dark sheets. Oh, there it is. Found it. I have dark sheets but a light blanket, and I found it, and it's belly facing up. All right. Score 1 me, score 0 the bug. This is a stream where we squash bugs. No. I don't know how hot the water has to be. I've always, like, if I don't have a water that comes out of the faucet hot enough, then put some, like, just a centimeter, if even, of water in a pan. And when you see bubbles starting to form and steam, that's generally the heat, the temperature that I think works really well. You want to be careful not to burn yourself. But it totally works. And I read once that it has something to do with the proteins that you're allergic to, because you're allergic to the proteins in the saliva or some shit like that. So there you go. I don't think we need anything in that. I think we can just have it be a toggle that turns on and off. Like that. What do you think? Maybe it needs to have some symbol. Let's see. keyboard symbols. Alt codes. Choice. Do not allow all. Confirm my choices. What would be an appropriate symbol? I don't know. Maybe this symbol. Let me see if that works. The play button. Is that confusing? Could make it the down arrow button. There was a down one, I think, right? This one. So I will say see how that feels. Expands it out. Okay, what does the left one do then? Don't want to spend too much time on this. Okay, we'll do that, and then oops. So if key value, show all button types, show all types. So so if we are not showing the float and not showing all types, then we'll return. Do that for each one. And then if we are showing all types, if we're not, then we will do something in return. We'll show a button. If button float, then key value dot show float equals true. Oh, equals not show float. Okay, I see. I remember what we're doing now. And we won't return, but we will show that button, and we will do an undo. Undo.record object object and undo shoot. Do that. Do I have to pass the object into it? Probably do. Okay. Do I need to do it as all this? Probably. just because I don't know what kind of object it's going to be. In this case, it's an item object, but it could be an item attribute or something else that also has dictionaries. Okay, it's the undo object. Undo toggle show this. Toggle show. Is my chair low? Let me see. Should be at its full height. Where's my... If I can find the knob to make it go up and down. Where is that damn knob? Huh. I don't know where the knob is. Ah. No. Maybe it doesn't go up and down. Alright. What I'm thinking is that my chair, trying to get my posture right, my chair might be a little bit too low, so I'm going to bring my desk down. I got a sit-stand desk that never actually goes up and down because I don't stand. Alright. That should be a little better. I just did it one turn. I felt my arms were just too bent differently. When's Halloween this year? Halloween 2021. Sunday, October 31st. Okay. Might use these again. All right, so what were we doing? Oh, yes. We were undoing that. So the idea is that if we're showing, then you'll have the option to turn things on and off to the left. And so I'll make this button to be 120. And we'll do the same to all of these. I wonder, can I do... let me just get this set up first, and then I'll see if I can do that. String. Can I do this? I can. All right, I should do that. Just see. Well, that didn't work actually. Plus, that also changed the size. I don't know. Didn't work on any of them. Oh. This should be show all types. It's definitely always 31st, that's for sure. Alright. So that's what it's supposed to show. And then if this is turned off... Oh, I gotta fix that. Alright. Alright, so first I can put this here. Skinny it up a little bit. then oh, and this is supposed to be and we are. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now you can turn these off technically. I need to change the color. But if you turn that off, yeah, so just okay. So let me bring up the symbol thing again. I want a single symbol. Maybe we'll go with this one. And use that symbol for now. And then for the buttons, do this. I'm gonna make this a thing. Public or private void. Oh no, I can't really do that. I guess all value colors. Just do that. Key value, uppercase K. All right, so we'll do all value colors, key value, then do that. So now for this button, all value colors, and then reset all value colors. And this is going to be similar to this, but both of these will just be color white. Okay. That'll make these a little skinnier. Oh, and this needs to not have this, doesn't need that. Okay. So we'll do that between each one of these. All right. That didn't work. Ah, of course it didn't work. All right. So instead we'll do bool is true, and we'll say if is true that, and then when we do call all value colors, instead we will do this dot show all value types for that one, and for these ones we'll do show float or key value show float, key value show int, key value show string, key value show bool. Will that be pretty now? Yes. So now you can turn them on or off, and you can also change the settings while they're on or off. If I change the setting, can you undo? No. So I need to add the undos. undo selection or value change. I don't want to name it for each one. Wonder if that works for these. Oh, the other thing is, of course, value string, 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 or label text field. And change that one. Okay. Test. Undo. Oh, that worked. Okay. Okay. And if I've got none, then it won't show at all. So I need to force this O symbol thing to be 25, width of 25. Okay, so only show the ones that are exposed, and so you can put those in there. And then for the string, we will do if key value show string as text box, then we'll do one thing. Else, we'll do this. Text area. We need the width and the height. Text, width. Did it in the wrong one. String up here. So text area, width equals 100, height equals 50, and then we need a checkbox. I'm going to put the checkbox in front or after. Key value dot string as textbox dot equals left check text box key value dot string as text box, and an undo on that as well. And then that's way too far off. Does this part work? It does. So this is a text box now and can hold more stuff. And then make this 100. That way the string still shows right there. Make it even smaller, 80. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody. Did you know I'm monetized now? As of yesterday, YouTube has monetized me, or 2 days ago. It's very exciting. It's all active. So now if you see a commercial, maybe I get paid like half a penny. What? Crazy. Crazy. All right, so text box. I guess I could put it here actually. That would be interesting. If we do only show this if that would keep it cleaner when it's closed and compact. Let's see. Yeah, and then text box. I like that. Yeah. I'm a fan of that. I do think these need to be wider though. And I should probably say, put that up here. Private int dictionary value field width equals 150. Or just say field width. What, Paul? All right, Paul, what's your question? I have to answer it now. That's cool. It shows up as the cool little game controller and emoji thing. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. I'm ballin'. Oh, wow, and it did the super chat thing. You tested the zombie. It worked. That's neat. Thank you. It gives me all the warm fuzzies inside. So now if I need to change that width, I only have to change it in one spot. And then yeah. I think I can make it a little wider actually. 200. Yeah, the zombie was pretty cool. I forget. I think that is built into the Streamlabs OBS, and I saw it and I was like, that's cool. So I activated it because I thought it was cool. All right. All right. Now I need to get these copy and paste going. Oh, and also all the other types. There are a lot. All right. Let's do it. Rockapella. We have animation, texture 2D, sprite, audio clip, prefab, color, vector 3, vector 2. We're gonna do stature skill, and item, and item. I'm making this into 2 items. So show dictionary, item, object, and show dictionary, item, attribute. And this is going to be stats and skills. I'm changing the stats and skills. We're naming this one learned stats and learn stats and skills. I'm gonna actually ignore that one. Maybe. Both of these are gonna be commented out for now though, because I might redo some stuff there. this one's going to be vector 2, vector 3, and color, and prefab, and audio clip, and sprite, texture 2D, animation. While I'm at it, are there any other types that you might want to add to a dictionary? I don't know. Okay, so item object and item attribute. How come these are all? Oh. These already existed? What happens if I save now? Oh, comment these out too. All right, so it clearly isn't really working. Huh. Well, I don't know. It seems like they're not showing up, so that's just fine with me. But I do need to add these all down here. So I'm just gonna throw them here so I can go down the list one at a time. And we'll start with the int as a template. How many do we have to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more. Say more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, sprite. Audio clip. Prefab, color, vector 3, vector 2, and item object, and item attribute. So those are going to be special ones, and I still have to do the ones for the stats and skills. That's also going to be a special one, but some of these can be much more easy. Okay, show animation. Just need to make sure I do all the things. Shoot. I have that as a keyword here. So I gotta change all of these. This is my, what I call the factory pattern. This is my version of the factory pattern. Assembly line factory. Not so bubbly water. All right, so animation. So I need to add, object is going to take object type. So it's the object type of animation, spelled correctly, with a comma after. All right. So what other ones have? That's sprite, audio clip prefab as game object, object. Did I not do object as? I'll have to figure out how I did it in the other one. Actually, the other one's right here. Prefab. Type of game object as game object. Oh. Duh. Okay. Color, vector 3, vector 2. All right. Value item object. Need to add that. Item object. Item object. Value item attribute. And item attribute. And item attribute. And copy this. Don't forget up here too. Add these to key value, public item object, or value item object, public item attribute, value item attribute, and hide inspector, public bool show item object equals true, and hide in inspector public bool show item attribute equals true. All right, that should suffice. That did suffice. All right, now let's go through and fix them all up. I think these ones might need object ones too, actually. All right, so bool animation, texture 2D, show texture 2D, Show sprite. Boring, boring, boring. Gotta be done. Okay. And I'm going to change this because it's supposed to be undercase t or lowercase t. Texture 2D, texture 2D button, texture 2D, show texture 2D, value texture 2D, texture 2D, probably object field again, value texture 2D, type of texture 2D, that's texture 2D. It's going to be one as well. Value sprite, have sprite, 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 sprite. Audio clip, audio clip. Now I'm just repeating words. Okay, object, prefab, 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 show prefab. Yep. Show dictionary color. This one's different. Value color. Color, color, field, value color, vector 3, vector 3 field, value vector 3, vector 3, 3, vector 2, value vector 2, vector 2 field, vector 2, yeah, it's my posture. Good night, Paul. I'm glad you like the zombie. My posture, when I get to these boring bits, my posture, I start slouching down. Item object, item attribute, and I actually want to change the way those are selected. Oh, and I think I should default these to be turned off because this is a lot of things to have on and have to turn off. Let me update that. It's going to be false for all these. All right, now we'll add a new key. Good, and it starts with them turned off. Now we can adjust that. Tonight, we are making the dictionaries populatable for all of the new things here. So you can expose these and then have them out here. Select them as you see fit. The one thing is these, you can select them from this. I guess it's okay to do it like that. Since they're scriptable objects now, before I was going to have be a drop down where you select from a drop down, but I guess since they're scriptable objects, it's just as well just to select them from here. It's a built-in feature, and there's really no use in overriding a built-in feature. I should, however, make sure that this is not itself. Otherwise, it would create a loop. Yes, now keep in mind, these dictionaries are my dictionaries. These are not actual dictionaries. So there's a difference between them. So I need to make sure that you don't select your own, the same object there. So it's going to be here, and we're going to say object or item attribute temp item attribute equals key value dot value item attribute, and then we're going to say if temp item attribute does not equal key value dot value item attribute, then if, I guess we can do this, if it doesn't, and key value dot item at value item attribute equals this object dot dictionary dot get key value dot get key value wait, this object. So if it's this object, so really it doesn't even matter what the temp is. If the value equals this object, then say bug.log warning can't use this object as its own value. And then we'll say key value dot item value item attribute equals temp item attribute. We have to do the same to the item object. Array temp item object value item object temp item right, let's test this out. So this is a short bow. Oh shit. All right. I already had it as sewn. Okay. If I try to do that, it will change it back to the short sword. And if it's already null, then it will change it to null. Okay, good. Now, do I want to have an option to isolate only certain types? Or do item object types? I don't know. Oh shit. Actually, I don't want this to be object. Oh yeah, I can in this context because this is a scriptable object. That's right, that saves me a headache from the UIDs. The last version I had to save only the UID and then do the editor scripting to expose the drop-down list. But since this is a scriptable object itself, it's not going to be runtime. That's going to be something different. So I can do it like this. So that's good. If, however, what do you mean by it? I forget which part. Do you mean the object type and the item type, the item attribute type? Leave it open for modification? Yeah. So I think what I need to do is add the two types too. So item object, item attribute, and then item object type, item attribute type. Hey Jason, things are coming along. Got fancy pants buttons that turn things on and off. Yeah, I think I need to expose the item type to an attribute type because in the end, that might be something that somebody would want to use. I might want to use it as a custom dictionary value. So, remember, don't slouch. My lower back has been hurting. I've been complaining about it tonight, so I need to not slouch. I have a fancy chair, and I think I need to tighten it because it feels things. We have to do a few things. It's unfortunately more than just a few things. It shouldn't be too bad, but nonetheless, we'll copy these, paste them here. We're going to be string value item object type and attribute type, also a string. Show type. All right, that part was easy. Now I need to do this. Attribute type. And type. No, say it ain't so, William. They're not weak. They're protected by a thin layer of fat. That's how strong they are. They need protection. Actually, wait, that would be the opposite. They're weak. They need protection. I think it's been, my posture has been really bad recently. I've been noticing how bad my posture is, but the chair is wobbly. The top of the chair is wobbling a little bit when I shimmy back and forth. So I do think it needs to be tightened. My last chair was $80 from Office Depot, and I liked it, but it got really bad, and my back was killing me. And then I got this fancy, expensive, way too expensive chair because the company that I work for paid for work from home budget. So I spent it all on a chair and then some, and it's a very nice chair. I like it, but it's I would never have bought it without that because it's like $1,300. Yikes. That's not fun. How do you fix that? Is there a fix for it? Okay, let's see if I can use link to make this smoother than I used to. So this is going to be a drop down. No. Nope, that's not what it is. It's a drop down. It's a fold out. No. It's a something pop up. It's a pop up. Pop up. And the pop up has to have an index, a string, of the options. Okay, I can do this. So string of the options are going to be yeah. Hey, Scott. Okay, gotta focus, gotta think. Okay, I know I have get items. Attribute array. Dot first index dot. Let's see. I need the one that gives me an int back, not count. Is there one that gives me the index of something? Is there not? Element at. Huh. Man, I hope I never get that. I feel bad for you guys. I just... Sounds not fun. Huh. So I can't go through and say, you know, given this list, show me the index of the first result. I mean, it's fine if I don't. I was just trying to be fancy, but I don't have to be fancy. I can hide the value right here. Actually, I don't need to do what I was trying to do. I was wrong. That was the wrong path. Or maybe it was the right path. Let me see. Make it twice. It makes X toys a day. When you call it to list or to array, it's like closing for the day. You can then ask for the nth made item. So is link not the one? Okay, so this dot index of oh, okay. To list then index of and I want to say this is going to be a string. Oh, wait. Dot distinct x dot type object type think distinct object type link distinct values. No, this can't be right. All right, Jason Wyman. Keep finding this. I keep coming. I think the links that you provide at the bottom are helpful. Distinct. Unique values from a collection by filtering duplicate data, if any. Distinct. Show examples. Where any, no, select dot distinct dot to list, no, shoot, is this supposed to be a method? To list index of that. So all item attributes, select object type, only the distinct ones, put it into a list, Get the index of string. Isn't this a string? It's a string. Oh, it's saying the wrong thing. Okay. Pop-up needs a index group of strings. So this is supposed to be the index. And then to array. Pop-up. Is this not an int? Value index equals that. And then string array type values equals that. What am I missing? Pop-up. Int string. That's it. Ah, okay. Type values. That. Okay. That will work. That's fancier than the way I would have done it 3 days ago. Let's see if it actually works. Oh, I gotta do more work. Object type, attribute type. Object type. Object type. Object type, okay. All that. Show item object type. Value item object array. Select object type. Distinct to list. Value item object type. Object array. Ooh. Can't do index of. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that earlier, before you arrived, Jason. Let me see if this works first. Oh, it did not work. Wait, where were we talking about? Oh, I should probably make sure value index equals 0. $63. just quickly fix this, and then I will talk to you about that. All right, so if value index if value index is less than 0, then value index equals 0. All right, make sure this works, and then I will talk all about that, because I was thinking this could probably be made easier, but man, I don't know how, and I need to do the same thing here to this one up here. Okay, good. Now you can select object on type, and there you go. Okay. So there is a fair amount of repetition. I've narrowed it down to where most lines have something unique. I'm sure I could pass this boolean up here, this boolean up there. The thing that I did not is things like this. The labels have to be different. This has to be different. All this down here has to be different for each one. Yeah, so I would prefer one method, but there's a lot of sections, especially this highlighted bit, where for each one it has to be different, and sometimes vastly different. Yeah. Yes, so each one of these is just this section over here. They're all similar in shape except for the string, which has this extra toggle on it. So the string does have an extra toggle. I think I still have it. Which script? The editor script. This draw box. Oh, I was wondering what this was, and now I think I get it. So if I am going to guess, this invoke means invoke this. So do that, then invoke this, then do those last two things. Is that what this does? Yes. Yes. Okay. Then let me try to implement this. This is interesting. I didn't know. So draw item. Is doing this and passing item into it. And this action is a special thing. I guess I've never done that before. That was the... Okay, and so this is passing this custom stuff. This is the unique bit, the super unique bit. All right, let me see. All right, well let me see what I can do. I can start up here. I don't need this right now anymore. I can add this up here, and I'll change some things here. So draw, draw. I'm gonna do show because I like saying show dictionary value, and well, I don't know if I need item pass through. So void show detail, show value details. Show box, show value details. All right, let me actually take a step back and start from down here. So I'm going to keep action content. I need to pass in this stuff. And I also then need a few things more. I need bool show this. I need string label name. Then I need content, which will be here. Okay, so that should be all I would need. And then if I paste this in here, so this is going to be show this. Label name is going to go here and also here. If there's content, invoke it here. And that would be it. All right, so this is the draw box portion. And then let's do, okay, show draw box and going to pass in our key value, just key value, and then our show this, so this will be key value dot show float. I'm doing the float this time, and then float, and then object, and then content. Content for float would be this bit, and looks like it might actually work. That's interesting. Where's my thing gone? Float. Turn all these off. Except for float. That totally worked. Holy shit, Jason. You've blown my mind once again with this content thing. Show this won't change. You sure? Oh yeah. Damn. So in this instance, pass it as a ref or return it and reassign it. I see. So it would be bool, and we would return show this, and we would say key value dot show float equals that. Wow, that's one heck of a line of code right there, in my opinion. Was it gray? Let's see. Oh, because nothing is done with it after that. I see. Neat. This is okay. Show dictionary value. Okay. Just to keep that. So show dictionary value is going to get all that stuff, and then this delegate action is triggered by content. If there is content, then invoke the action. In this case is just write the code in the middle of these curly brackets. 154. Oh. Thank you. Didn't notice that. Okay. That's neat. So, essentially then, each one of these gets replaced by its value int value int. Interesting. Yeah, so delegates, huh? Never used a delegate before that I know of. It's cool. I just checked my calendar to see what time I wake up tomorrow. I wake up at the same time to see what time my meetings start. And yep, meetings start at 8 a.m. with an hour and a half of meetings, and then a break, and then another hour and a half, or almost 2 hours of meetings. And a nighttime meeting? Oh, man. Nighttime meeting. Ugh. Alright, that's okay. Do what you gotta do. Alright, let's do this, because this is what you gotta do. Okay, so I am going to move this to the bottom so that I can assembly line the update. By going like this. Don't need this. Don't need this. My daytime gig? Well, that's a story and a half. Essentially, it's marketing or merchandising, e-commerce. Fancier. What the heck? Items could handle their own drying stuff? Well, let me do this one before I forget what I was doing. Oh. The whole point of this was to do all this. Will that work? Wow. Okay. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. So bit fancier if you want to cut out all this copy and pasting. Require you talking to be through it. A visitor pattern. Terria guy. Okay, we could have the items handle their own drawing stuff. All right, I'm all ears. I need to get some water. I'm going to set up a Zoom chat for Jason and I, if you're still free to talk, Jason. And I will be right back.
or to do work with. So theoretically, like we don't know you don't know how to write the code yet, but we do know we should be able to say key value, give me the things I should show, right? Like there should be some way of doing that where I shouldn't need to ask it individually. Are we showing floats today? Are we showing strings today? Or because it knows, like it already knows the answers to that question. So if there is some way we can give it that job where we could say, look, my job is to draw all the stuff you are showing. Here, use this to draw it. You draw whatever you're drawing. Then suddenly the object itself goes, oh, I'm showing floats. Let's show a float. I'm showing int. Let's show an int. And anyone who's outside of that doesn't know what it's internally showing, but it's given it the power to draw its own stuff, right? It's like when you give someone your phone and say, put your phone number in for me. Rather than saying, do you have a phone number? Yes. Is it a 0? It is. Okay, we'll put a 0. Is it a 1 next? Okay, we'll put a 1. Like you can do it that way, but you're constantly having this back and forth and confusion. But if you give it to them and say, right, I need from you a phone number. Here is a phone. Put in a phone number. They can do it for you. So you effectively visit the object and you give them the tools to complete the job. So that's the kind of philosophy of where we're getting to. And I look at this and I go, objects like key values need to be drawn. We could hand something to a key value and say, draw yourself, right?
I see.
So that's kind of where we're at. But the code for this gets a little bit hairy, so I wanted to make sure that we do this in small steps.
Okay.
So the first thing to do is we need some concept of a thing that draws key values. And so let's make just right at the bottom somewhere some interface, and we'll just call it key value drawer.
Okay, so public.
We'll do an interface for this one. Yeah, exactly. Beat me to it. Again, it doesn't necessarily need to be, but it'll be simpler if we do.
That's fine.
And so we'll just stop there. We don't even think right now for details. So now if we pop back into the key value itself and we say, let's give it that. So let's say do a method called draw and then hand it this drawer.
Okay. What do you mean hand it this drawer?
Pass it in just as a parameter like you would with anything else.
Oh. All right.
Okay. So now we could say as an example, this object knows what it's drawing. So as a test, we'll just do one. We'll just say if show bool or whatever the variant for this object is. Yeah, show bool is fine.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was trying to think, do I have one of those? Yes.
You do. That's the point of this whole concept is key value drawer dot show bool. Wait, so you got a drawer passed in. So you got a drawer that's passed in. So call the drawer and ask it to draw a bool. So, yeah, it doesn't exist. So we'll make it now. Just so show bool.
Oh, I see. Got it. And then we'll put it down here.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you probably need the value. Yeah, no public for interfaces. And we no implementation at the moment, so we'll come back to that. Just put a semicolon instead of a thing.
Okay.
And then we'll do an example of this. So next, do another class underneath 113, and call it like draw editor fields or whatever you want to call the bits that we're doing. So public. This is a class. So public class draw editor stuff. Or editor key value editor drawer if you want. So thing that draws key values in the editor.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, theoretically you could draw a key value anyway. You could draw it in gizmos in the scene. You could draw it in some other way. This is the way that draws key values that happens to use the editor to do so, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and this will implement key value drawer. So the way this works is it's full colon for the first one and then commas after that. So it's full colon and then key value drawer.
Yeah. That's right.
And it will now ask you to implement that.
Okay.
Right. And so, yes, exactly. You now have a place right here to put that code that would have gone into that content thing.
So just the part, the content, or this whole chunk?
Just the bit in the middle, the content portion.
Okay, that's fine. I can steal this. And then how do I put that here? Because I can't just paste that.
You can. We'll come back and fix this in a sec. Okay. So the first, now that we've pasted this, what you want to do is so we have to make some assumptions just because the way this works. So put a change 112, change void to bool there. Yeah, and then on 106, say show bool equals, just so that we're passing that back. Yeah, and then finally we can remove the key value dot return value bool and just change it to return. So return check.
Wait, where?
So you got key value dot value bool equals. You just return that. Yeah. Now the next thing is that check function doesn't exist. So copy the check function from the other place, put it in here into this editor.
Oh, so this okay. Um, check comes from custom editor. Am I able
Yeah.
to get this to
You,
inherit from that? Or
you can,
yeah,
but I think for simplicity, I would just paste it in because it is doing its own thing. Because you might want to change how that looks later. So I just copy
okay.
the whole 280, just the function. Yeah, so pop that into our drawer here. So put this sort of outside of, so yeah, somewhere there exactly, and it's
There.
not static, and then do the implementing thing. Yeah, it'll ask you to implement Unity editor GUI layout. Yeah, and then last but not least, inside of show bool, pass in key value. So right there, show bool key value. Um, and actually, what else do you need? The field width. Actually, we'll leave that. You know what? We're gonna simplify this a bit. Change that from key value, and then whatever the value bool. So do bool or do bool value bool there on 120. So instead of key value on 120 inside of it, do bool
Uh-huh.
and then value bool. Don't worry, we'll pause after this one. It'll make sense. We're just kind
Yeah.
of plumbing some stuff real quick. So yeah, you can delete the key value dot in front of that one. Yeah. And then
I
last but
can
not
ignore
least,
field width. I can just hard code this to 200 or something if that's.
well, the way I would do that is, so if you go above 118,
Hmm.
do type CTOR and press tab, and then inside of the round brackets there, type float width. And if you click on width and then click option enter, it should give you an option to create local field. Introduce field width, yeah. And now just put width in there for 128. Yes, yeah, that's fine. And
Width.
now,
I see.
exactly, yeah.
I see what
And
I
with
was
all
doing
of that
opposite.
in place, all we need now is it doesn't match the contract anymore because we've got bool. We can get rid of width inside of, oh, not width, where is it? Show bool needs bool in value bool on 113. So bool value bool inside of the round brackets there. And you need they need the type name as well. So bool space value bool. Right. So we'll pause there for a second. And what we'll do is, what is it not like with? Oh, with an int, not a float. Sorry, change those to ints.
Which ones?
The two floats there, 118 and 120. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can get rid of the one in check. So just delete int width there on value. So it says check value. Delete that whole argument. Yeah. There we go. And you can delete it on. Oh, sorry, no, leave that there. Yeah, just delete width on 128. Yeah, and there we go. So we'll just pause there, and what we'll do is we'll extract these out. So if you click on 116 and click Option Enter, it'll offer you to move it to a new file. The name of the class. Yeah. Should we down one? Move to, yeah, exactly. And do the same thing with, if you press, I think it's Alt backspace. Oh, it'll drop back where you were. Oh, or we already, yeah. So
I'm
Alt
still
backspace.
there. It didn't take me over.
Oh, well, for me, I use the Alt back, or I do Control Shift backspace. They're the two that work for me. Or Alt left arrow.
I'm not sure what I'm trying to do. Where am I?
Well, whatever. No, it's right. You can just pop back to the other class. It's like there's some shortcuts that jump you back and forth between scripts. It really depends what your configuration's at, but it's not really important. We're just going back to.
Well, I'm back in to where I was. It never took me anywhere. Never took me.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So we're looking for the interface where we had the
yeah,
one
it moved that somewhere.
Yes, but now it's key value drawer. So F12 on that. That is still at the bottom of another. Yeah. So if you like go into that one, I don't know what your shortcut is to like go to that script. Yeah.
Just a command click.
Okay. Yeah. So that one's moved, and so is the editor one. I think is the editor one moved because he's the second one. We want to make sure he's moved. So if you click one inheritor.
One inheritor. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, it moved both out. Okay. Cool. I guess it happened too fast. I didn't notice. Anyway, so we're done with that.
It doesn't load them, so it confuses me whenever that happens. I guess.
Right. So we now have a thing that knows how to draw key values and the key value drawer. So just to show how we'd go about using this. Oh, and 106, you need to pass in the bool value or value bool or your value bool.
Yeah. Okay.
So just to pause and show what we've got here. We have a thing called a key value. A key value receives something that says, I know how to draw key values. That's what I do. That's my one job. And we hand it to the key value. And the key value says, hey, am I showing bools right now? I am. Hey, Mr. Drawer, draw a bool. And so all of the decision making on which things to draw are now handed internally by the key value based on whether his own show bools or show whatever is active. So when we're outside of this, we don't have to actually check, are you drawing a bool? Draw a bool. Are you drawing a float? Draw a float. We just say, here's a thing that draws things for you. Use this and make up your mind which of them you're drawing based on what you're showing. So you'd still have to write the others, the show thing, show thing, show thing. There's ways to get around that too. But what we've done, at least for now, is you don't have to write all of the other plumbing code, because when we go back to the editor for this, as an example, so what we'll do is do an on enable for the editor for the key value, the drawer. Sorry, when I say editor, I mean your editor, not the script you've made.
So an on enable?
So, yeah, an on enable. And we'll just make something on, so on 161, write a the key value drawer. So key value, yeah, make a variable called key value drawer somewhere. Say, I say 161 is a good place for that. Key value drawer underscore value drawer or something. Yeah, and then in 165, value drawer equals new key value drawer, or new editor key value drawer. So instantiate this. So underscore key value drawer. And that's now equal to a new key value editor drawer. And you can optionally put in the width in there of how large each of these fields should be. So we'll say whatever 100 to start or something.
Field width. Okay.
Okay, already have that. Cool. So apparently you've got multiple editor functions. So you might want to move this into one of the others.
Yes. Let's find. There it is. Saw it. There it is. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, good stuff. Right. So we now have a thing that draws editor key value stuff. And so if we now go to the start where you're about to begin drawing all of these, if it's this, do this, if it's this, do this sections.
This section right here.
Yeah. So that first one where it says show float on 161. So just as an example, what we'll do is, because I like to clean the old stuff or keep it there but move it. So if we just draw a big box around all of these shows right up, so from 115, so just under 115, yeah, from 116 down, drag all of that until the end vertical under 158. Select that whole section and cut it to its own method and call it like draw it using dictionary, draw it the old way, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Do you know
you can just cut it and paste it. I know my one, but again, all of yours are like it's under refactor. So it's for me it's RM. So control RM is what does it for me, but I don't know your.
Let me try that, because I've always wondered that. Whoop, that didn't work. Control RM. No. Command R.
The control R gets you to refactor. There we go. Enter. Press enter. Oh, so you don't have to click these. Once it's highlighted blue, if you press enter, it does it in line. Okay. So now you can call this like old drawing method. And this is the general principle of refactoring, because now that's there, it's not gone, we haven't deleted it, but you can now just comment that out and we can just begin the new one. And so if you ever want to go back, that's just an option there that's available to you. So that makes that nicer. Yeah. So now in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to say, you probably have a key value here. I don't know if you've already done the for loop or not, but if you result in a bool.
Oh yeah, I've got a key value right here.
Yeah, so on the next line, under wherever you want to put it, right there, so just write key value dot draw, and then pass in underscore key value drawer. And that's it. And the key value drawer will decide what he's drawing based on what stuff internally he knows he's doing. So theoretically, we should have our bool field for that. Now, again, we have to do more stuff, but it'll at least show you the ones that our floats should now draw, or bools that we should now draw, right?
Well, none of them are showing, but yes, if I come down here I could. Oh no, it's hidden in the inspector. So it's supposed to draw something. If this is turned on, then it is supposed to still draw something.
In this case, we're going by if the bool internally.
Yeah,
if the
because we just did that one test. So now we need to add this other code over, right? This box code.
We shouldn't have to because that show float should be toggling. Let's just do a float just for a test, just for my sanity, and kind of scale up from there. So if you now pop into the editor drawer, you should be able to make a. So you've got show bool there on line 16, and if you click the line 17 there and click Option Enter, it'll option to shrink it down to a single line expression body. Yep.
Oh.
There you go. So you can copy that and paste it, and then we could do a show float, for example. Float seems to be a common one. So
yes, float. Float.
And then this is where you figure out what your so check float. So now you have to make sure to add that to the contract. So you've now added it, but you have to put it to the contract now. So on key value drawer, make sure that that's exposed. So F12 or we'll select key value drawer top right, the interface. Yep. And just add here. So this is what the rest of the world sees. These are the features of the editor drawer, and then the editor drawer is the details of how that works. So you just copy and paste that one. Yeah, exactly. Show float. Yeah, exactly. So now that should be available as another way of drawing, and it's not bool. Sorry, it's value float. I think on 16 is the float value.
Yes.
And you're not drawing it with a checkbox. You're drawing it else.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Where did I put check in this case? It was. Well.
You can probably just one line some of these because they're quite simple. Like if you just cut that toggle and paste it instead on show bool, so everything after the arrow. You can get fancier with it, but as a starting point, these are just wrappers for these kinds of draws. So you can replace that. Yeah, exactly. Valuable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just something I like to do because it makes this a bit simpler is on line 3. Yeah, perfect. Exactly. Yeah, to do your float field and and this instead of this has to be 2 lines because we're not returning the float, we're still returning the show. So that's a bool.
That's right.
And then make this 2 lines, and then the next line should be return. Also, you're going to need to pass in the toggle anyway. Yeah, okay, so we're going to have to change the contract again because this is going to have to take a boolean. So on show float, do a bool is showing or something. Yeah. So far, this isn't looking like it's replacing much code, but it'll get there. So just, return is showing here.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the general principle going forward. It should be whatever T type, and I guess because we're not using the object fields. That's probably fine. So copy 16 and replace the contract one on key value drawer. Yep. Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So now we can use that inside of the key value itself. We can do our check there. So key value will now ask itself internally here if drawing if show float, and then show float equals key value drawer dot show float.
Okay. If Andrew can type.
And then the show float should be the second
parameter in that. There we go.
So that draws those for starters, and then we have to now make sure. Well, yeah, let's just check if they draw. I guess the start. I think part of the confusion is you have your double layered thing. You have the parent check and then the sub check. So just to make sure that okay, so that did draw a second.
Yes.
Field there.
But it doesn't save it yet.
Saving the value.
So value float equal.
Well, that'll be internally. So if you open up show float.
Yep.
Yeah, because you're going to get into territory here because these are ref values. I have to think about this because again, we're doing like 5 things here, and I'm trying to figure out which is the simplest way to approach it. You know what? I'm going to make an executive decision to simplify this because I think it'll be confusing, but it'll simplify everything we're doing. Okay. Change both of the bools to just void, and then put the letters ref and a space in front of both of the variables. So ref bool and ref float. So ref space bool, ref float, and ref bool. Yeah. So that means pass by reference, not by value. When you pass by value, it's like the difference between typing your phone number down and giving it to somebody. And if they change the numbers on that phone, it doesn't affect your actual phone number, right? They're unconnected. It's a copy of what you've written down. But the difference would be if you pass by ref, it's like if the numbers change on that piece of paper, it would also magically change your phone number. So because we're now passing in the values, these are intrinsically linked because you're not passing the number, you're passing the reference to that number. So that will now change it if changed, right? So if we go back to our drawer, to our editor, we just have to make sure we match it there. They're going to say they want those to be ref values.
And these to be void.
Yeah. And now, because they're not returns, you don't need to do that anymore. It's just on 19, you can delete that line, and you can just have is showing equals float field, blah, blah, blah. So in front of 18, you can have is showing.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, wouldn't this be value float equals that?
Oh, sorry, that's the float value. Yes, yes.
Okay, and for this one, we're still good here?
Yes, but now you need the toggle to return. So now change 21 to void for show bool. And the toggle on that should now be value bool equals. So our lambda arrow bool equals editor GUI layout.
Right here?
No, the other arrow. See where the arrow is on the left?
This one.
So just in front of editor, yeah. Just to the right of that. Right, value bool equals. And now you can actually delete the check function because we're not actually using that at the moment. And then finally ref in front of 20 for the bool. So a bit confusing, but we got there in the end. So we now have one line that's like, and actually just to make this even simpler, go to the using statements on line 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and add a using static Unity editor.editor GUI layout. Yeah, semicolon there, and now you can delete those words there and there just to simplify the code a bit. Right, and you can then click on 17 and do Option Enter to move that to one line. So if you click on the actual the bracket itself, and then Option Enter, or click the, yeah, exactly, expression body, and then finally I like to press Enter there after the arrow, so it goes to the next line, and then same with the other one. So what we have now is the ability to show a float is one line. Value equals float field value with that width. Bool is value bool toggle that one line. And we could theoretically add more here, but first of all, let's check that our values now sync and change. They should, hopefully.
Okay. Now we don't have an is showing on the bool.
Do we probably do need one, I guess, do we?
Yes, yeah.
So
So it's
actually, these
just
showing we don't.
copy.
Wait, actually, no. So we don't need to pass those in anymore because they're being ref values. We can actually delete that because it's the other guy who's controlling it. It's the item itself.
Delete this.
Actually, delete that. Yeah, delete that altogether. Yeah, and then in the contract, make sure that matches in key value drawer. Yeah, because we're passing by ref now, so you don't actually need to return a checkbox for that, which is nice. So in key value, he's now simpler. He doesn't need the equals. He can just say if show bool, if show float, and you can delete the equals bits at the start.
Which
yeah, exactly.
okay.
Right there, yeah. That should ref and ref for those, yeah.
Like ref this, ref that.
Exactly, yeah. Cool. So now we're getting somewhere.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I'm passing in the current value bool, and since it's ref, it's saying, "Hey, I'm gonna update this."
Yes.
Okay. I think I get that.
I didn't realize that. I forgot. That's also probably something that would be quite valuable to you. Is the idea that rather than copying and pasting values around, you can just ref value the ones you want.
I've noticed some in some of the Unity code that I've used in, like, I think raycasting.
Yeah.
Or out.
Because it's more. Technically, out. It's more. Yeah. Technically, ref is more performant because what you're doing. It really depends. It gets into weird territory. It's if you like, for example, if we're talking hyper optimizations, anytime you're doing list-based stuff where you're like copying a list and making changes and whatever, then returning a list, theoretically you should be passing a ref list because then you never have to make a duplicate list. You just change the existing one every time. But that's like a pretty large refactoring. In theory, you shouldn't really use ref for value types because the way I would put this, kind of try to explain, there's two concepts called the stack and the heap. And that's kind of the underlying how code works. The stack is kind of like a little box of paper on your desk or a collection of books on your desk. And the heap is like a giant library behind you. The heap stores all of the things. And if you want to have a reference to something, you can keep a reference number. And if you want to look up a line in that book, you can take the reference number, walk over to the shelves, find the appropriate book, read the line, which works, but it's a tedious, long, costly performance thing to do. But if you know you're going to access something semi-regularly, you can save yourself time by putting it on the stack right here beside you. And now, whenever you want to look it up, you don't need to go grab the reference, look it up, do all this stuff. Now, code magically does this for you. It knows there's certain kinds of things. Numbers, in general, numbers, strings, those kinds of things, they're stored on the stack. They're kind of like, we just throw these around. Give me a 5, throw a 5, use a 5, whatever. But when you talk about objects, large lists of things, they're the difference between reference types and value types. So when you hear of a reference type, what that says is it's stored in the library. I don't have it on me, but I can go get it if you ask for it. And that way, if people want to change things, they don't like the difference is the numbers. If I give you the number 5 and change the number 5, you haven't changed 5 for everyone in the world. You've changed your 5. You've just messed with that. But if I give you a reference to a book and you go to the library and you change the content of the book, you've changed everybody's book. So that's the difference between a reference and a value. And so as a general rule, numbers and things get passed as the values, and then objects that are kind of meant to be passed around and shared are passed as reference. So in general, they usually suggest you don't pass as reference because to do that, you have to do what's called boxing. So you take a number, which is meant to be on the stack, you put it in a book, and then you put the book on the shelf. And now whenever you want to reference that number, you have to go to the shelf to get it. But the trade-off is, well, it's now slightly more performant cost to do that. Everyone who wants to change the number gets the reference to the book, changes the number over there, and everybody gets that change, which is what you're doing now. You're changing that number inside the book everywhere so everyone can access it. So again, slight more performance cost because it now has to go travel to the library to figure it out. But because you're already doing passing stuff around, it's probably not that bad in this instance.
Plus, it's an editor script.
Exactly. So it won't be too bad, yeah. So yeah, so that's the general principle. And if you're doing stuff with lists, oftentimes what you're doing is you're taking a list of stuff, and then for each one, if it's this, change this. And so sometimes it's in order for it to, if you pass a list and don't pass by ref, depending on the context, sometimes it's a duplicate and there's performance costs. But if you pass by ref, it's passing the same one, so there's no like you don't have to make clones or copies. It's the same thing. Anyway, that's a whole tangent. All I really want to get at here is the idea that, so we haven't really saved a lot of code yet. All we've done is moved it around, but I just want to point out where it is. So now the decision of which items of a key value to draw are inside of a key value, right? He does it. He decides if I should show, I'll draw. If I should show, I'll draw. So in a hypothetical world where you added another type, show text file, the only place you do it is here because like he's the guy who handles his own drawing. Then inside of the drawer, you've said there's a new type of thing to draw, Mr. Drawer. Here, can you tell me what you want to do with it? And so you'd expose it here as a draw text file or whatever. And now you could say anybody who's called themselves a value drawer can choose how to draw it. It's up to them, not my problem. And then finally, you go to the editor drawer and he says, oh, there's a new type of thing called text file and I'm supposed to draw it. Let me figure out what I'll do. And he doesn't need to know anything about which value sent him here or whatever else. All he knows is there's a thing called a text file and I should draw it right now, right here. And so he does whatever object thing he wants to do that. So it's the same code. You just split it into 3 places. But by doing that, it means when we go all the way back at some point to our other editor thing, you don't have to do all those checks. You can just say, hey, oh, I've got a key value, draw the key value. And theoretically, you can go one step further and say, this is a key value collection, draw the collection. What does that do for each one? Draw the key value. And so suddenly there's a lot less code here, and you don't have to do switches here, because at the end of the day, it all boiled down to one thing. There is a key drawer, draw whatever's inside of you, and you know that already. I don't need to guess for you, right? So there might be 1 or 2 things to hook up first, and then we'll just like basically copy and paste where it needs to be. But you'll see how the difference now between line 127 to 133 is like these 3 clones of the same thing, when in theory, now it's all replaced by 117. Just draw the thing and the stuff inside of it's there. Again, it's mostly just hiding it. It's not gone. You still have to write it, but it's about handing it to the right person. And now this editor shouldn't need to know all of those messy details.
And it's this editor that knows the messy details.
Exactly. And what's cool about this, you could make 2 drawers. You could say key value drawer where I do nice red fancy boxes, or key value drawer where I draw all the numbers as ints, or key value drawer where I draw all the numbers as sliders. And now there's that one place at the top of the editor where you could say drawer equals some kind of drawer. And now you could swap them out because all of the who actually does the drawing is now an object you can pass in. You can change that up because you're not hard coding it in the editor, you know?
Okay.
Obviously that's kind of unnecessary here, but whatever.
So we need to add in though the ability to still show stuff if this is turned on. So if this is true, it should still show stuff.
So I guess that would be if you go 1 level higher. So you have to talk me through the code for that. I'm not really sure exactly how you're.
Okay. So where's the block code? At the bottom. Show extra. Okay. So if this is toggle here, toggles show all value types. And if that's turned on, then every type will show, and it will also include this button, which toggles whether you should show it or not. The individual show bool, show float, show string, etc.
So we're saying that, so we're drawing this with a parent toggle button for the items. Okay, so so I'm sorry. Let me just reason this out. There is a key value, which is a bunch of fields that will draw effectively in a line for each one that's active. Then there is a thing which draws those, and it will decide whether or not to draw it based on that flag. Okay, so the drawer we've done draws the properties inside of a key value, but we can now give that job to a key value as well. So if we pop into the key value class, what we can do is in 103 here, we're basically saying draw yourself, but we also want to have a flag you're saying to say, should I even draw this key value at all? So theoretically, whether or not we call this function boils down to whether it draws that line. So all we do is not call that function in the case that we don't want it drawing. So if you now pop over to the editor, your one, sorry, module script will object editor. Theoretically, if you scroll up to where we've done those two, our draw function. Yeah, here we go. It would be here, right? You would just put a line above this and say if should draw this key value drawer. Do I get that right?
I actually was thinking it would live here, and this could be one of those separation things.
Yeah. But, draw all. Good point. Yeah, no, actually, it's a very good point.
Yeah, I would say like if we are showing bool, then show it. If we are showing something else, bool show all, essentially, then we would show it. So this would be or show all. But if show all
is off or false, so you return, yeah.
No, if show all, then we're going to show a button. Then show a button here.
All right, to toggle the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. I guess what I would do then in this instance, because I wouldn't want this living exactly in here, what I would say is you've got your key value drawer. So what you can say is, so cut those two lines, the two ifs.
These two.
Yeah, and then write key value drawer dot draw. And then in round brackets, type in this, the word this. Yeah, and now make that with the option enter.
Oh, option enter. Oops, wrong button, enter.
Yeah, you can just press enter, it'll auto highlight, you don't need to go and click the version of that. Anyway, go to key value drawer editor. And now click that, yeah. And then you could paste that there.
Paste what?
The two lines that we had. The
I didn't copy them.
Okay. It's fine. We can redo them here too. Yeah, cut, which means you would paste them, right? You cut and then you paste. That's what that means.
You copy and you paste. You copy and paste.
Both require you to have them. Cut and copy both result in you having them in your clipboard. And you use, it does, yeah. Okay. Anyway, whatever. You can just repeat it here. That this is just show float. If key value dot should whatever. You have to preface it with key value in this instance. Yeah. Then you can say show float. Yeah. And ref and then just the float value. Yeah.
Key value.
Key value. Yeah, exactly.
Value float. Sorry. Value float. Okay.
Yeah, you can just copy paste that there and then move this to the top of the script. And so now the drawer handles drawing all things, but also drawing the sub things.
How does it do this?
Now you have access to the key value at the top. So if you wanted to have a should draw style thing, you could do that here now.
Oh, I see.
So for example, if you go to do a bool on 10, public bool draw all or something, or show all or whatever the naming you're using for that is. Yeah. Oh no, in this case it's literally just true or false. This is the global. Okay. So public bool show all.
Because I do have a reference. The key value has this bool already.
Oh, does it? Okay, I thought this was outside of the.
No, each key value keeps its own.
Okay.
It's key value dot show all value types.
Yeah, so there you go. You can use that for your rest of your drawing.
So I would say, if we are doing that, whatever, I now know what button I pressed there, or, whoa, Oh, right. Key value dot show all value types. Then we were going to show the float. But if we are showing all value types, then we also have to show a button.
Yeah, so you can say then on 22, if show all value types, draw button.
Okay. So
yeah.
We're gonna have to. Well, I need the word float here.
Why? I'm curious. What's that? I thought this is all value types, right?
Yeah, but it just showed it next to the button you press. I mean, I don't have to. I guess I could say, we'll do, how about this? Key value dot show float, then hide, otherwise show. There's a little bit more. I changed the colors too, so I probably need to put this.
Well, we can definitely style stuff once we get it.
Okay.
Functional. Oh, you might have to write the GUI layout because this isn't your.
That's right. Here. See, I've used that. Now I've gotten used to
it. Exactly. Yeah. Spoiled right. for those features.
For life. All right.
Oh wait, are these per yep. thing? Oh, okay. Yep. So I thought this was global. That's why I was getting confused. Well, if that's the case, you probably want to put it inside of the show bool function itself, right? Show bool should have its own if it's doing all. Because you already have a place where that's being done. That'll give you the information you want. So yeah, see, it's funny. Like this isn't how I would solve this problem, and so I'm trying to like react on the fly to resolve some of this. Yeah.
So this box down here, this is essentially all of what we need to add over to the other thing. Except for the invoke. Is it possible to keep this here and simply have this line elsewhere? But I guess that's the same as just doing it here.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I think we should do, because right now I'm having a hard time combining the stuff that I'm trying to get across with the stuff that's here. So I think what's better is if we do a simpler example where I show you what I'm getting at, you know your own code, and you'll be better at applying the stuff rather than me trying to apply it as we go, if that makes sense. So
sort of.
If you want, just make a simple any script and then an editor for that any script, and I'll just cover one or two topics, and then you can put it in where those things make sense rather than trying to reactively change things as we go. So like if you had a test editor stuff and then a editor stuff editor, whatever, test and a test editor, just if you have two empty scripts we can play with, I can cover one or two ideas and then we can come back to applying it here.
Okay, but before we do that, because I'm thinking something, if we put this here, I'd have to change those back to, not use my stuff. And then pretty much do.
Well, there's a way we can actually get your stuff. Actually, here's another. If that's a different, we could do that. We could have it where your stuff can be added anywhere, even if it's not in the editor.
Well, I don't care about that. I'm just trying to see, like, if this is on the drawer editor, and this all these code bits, the custom code bits that are in the content, are, because there's I'm just worried that it's going to get even more complicated, because some of them are object types, and then there's the ones down here that are like that have this chunk, and it's not just a single line anymore. And
well, that's kind of why you actually do want someone else handling it, right? You want a place to say, using whatever complex methods you choose, at this point, you should be drawing this object's float field. And you can ask it for as much information as you want, but figure it out and draw your own thing. And if that needs extra data, you can pass it in as settings. Because you don't want either the editor, module editor, script editor, object editor doing the drawing, and you don't want specifically the key value doing the drawing, because the bits that change are, there are something which says, given a key value, draw it in this editor somehow, and that how can range from a bunch of labels to really complex sequences of buttons and whatever. So that middle thing is what we're trying to make, which is I have a key object or key value. I have a place that is supposed to list all of them, and it goes through some filter and results in a bunch of editor wackiness that has a cool little editor, right? That gives us that one place where all of that complexity can be like swapped out, turned off, turned on, changed, and you don't have to change either. Because again, the rules of the key of the module scriptable object editor don't change. For each key value, draw each key value. That's all that's really doing, right? At the end of the day, it's all it's doing. There might be one or two extra things like copy from here to here or paste here, but at the end of the day, it's saying for each one, draw something that represents it. And then each key value is basically, I have some values that can be drawn and I know which ones should be. And then finally, this thing in the middle should be like, whatever the key value tells me to draw, I will draw because the editor told me to. You know what I mean? That's the triplicate of how that relates.
Okay.
The problem I'm getting at is, as you said, there's a lot of moving parts here, and I'm getting myself tied up in knots because I haven't been watching the full development of this. So I think if we just put a pause briefly, I can show what I'm getting at, and I think you'll be better at applying this than I will.
All right.
Because you could always, if this gets too confusing, we could undo this bit and you can just apply based on the bit afterwards. But so let's just start with make an object just called thing, for example, and then do an editor that's a thing editor, and we'll just like step through this as a example.
So one script that's just thing and one that's just.
We'll do say editor. Thing. We'll say thing collection and then thing collection editor. We'll just those three are probably the relationship we're looking for here.
And thing.
Yeah. And we'll keep thing pretty simple. It doesn't need to be mono behavior. It's just going to be like an entity, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thing collection would be.
Yeah, that's a mono behavior. We'll just put a for simplicity. We'll just have an array of things in here for starters. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you can just use serialized field. You don't need to initialize its value.
What do you mean?
Semicolon and then serialized field, and it'll automatically initialize it for you if you have a serialized field on top of this.
Oh.
Yeah, square bracket serialized field.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So now that'll serialize in the editor. And then finally, the editor script needs to extend from your editor and just draw that field to start.
From module scriptable.
Sure, whichever you're using as your base editor type.
Ooh, it's a good question.
You'll have to also move it into the editor folder.
Yes.
Right, and we'll just step through here the general how I'd approach the philosophy of drawing something with this kind of relationship. Yeah. So I guess we'll just clear those, and then inside of the draw function, we'll just start simply and say draw all things, and do the whole option enter. I get into the habit of that. Like if you're in the middle of a method and you just write option enter, it'll do all of that in one fell swoop, and we'll do that again.
Okay.
Yeah, so that becomes a lot faster. And if you press enter one more time, it'll even highlight the next line for you.
Oh, I see.
So if you do option enter, 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 you'll be exactly where you need to be to write the code for the next function all in one go. Anyway, we'll get more of that as we go. So this is draw all the things. Now just write for each thing in item dot things or whatever the property is. We'll have to expose that, I think. What is how do you reference the object when you're getting it in this context? I don't know if you go down a level to the module scriptable object editor. I don't know what we call it. Is it item or that's what I usually use?
Oh, script.
Is that the thing that you're passing? Yeah, script. Okay, I think it's script. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So you probably have referenced a script there. Script dot, and we don't have it exposed publicly, so we have to go back to our things collection, and then do a public thing array. Public. We'll do iNumber. Should we? I'm trying to figure out how to keep this simple. You know what? Yeah, just do public thing array things and have it point to that thing array things, capital T, and then do an arrow to things. Not how I'd really do it, but whatever. This will work. We'll get there. So now head over to the editor. And now for each thing item in script.things. Is it not script? Basically, there's some item that represents this object. Oh, you're not using the T generic for it.
Huh?
Sorry, because I remember I wrote a really base editor script for you, and I presumed it was working roughly the same way. So so scriptable object editor. Go to that for a second. I just need to walk my head through this one. Go over to scripts.
Yes.
So you've got custom. Okay, so this is already what we need is custom editor modules. That's the one that has the T generic type, not the one that we're. Yeah, so he's the one we need. So make the collection editor implement that one. Yeah, and that's of type things collection. So you need the yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then above that you need your custom editor type of thing collection.
Where?
On 5. On 5, the square brackets. You need the custom editor. You can look at one of the other ones for an example, but you'll have this in other ones. Go to an actual editor like these are all the abstract ones. Click on inheritors.
Uh-huh.
One of those will have it. It'll be there. You go. Custom editor type
I
of.
See.
Yeah.
Got it. Type
and
of
that's thing collection.
Thing collection. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and why is it not like that? It should be fine. Must be convertible. It is. So if you click Alt Enter, click on it, and then Alt Enter or Option Enter, it should give you a add constraint. I think does it? No, that's remove. We don't want to remove constraint. Is thing collection not a minor behavior? It is. Why is he complaining then?
Is custom this a scriptable object?
Oh, your custom editors only work with scriptable objects. Okay, so we have to go down one more level because you're using So go down to that one. Yeah, that's the one we need. So copy the second custom editor scriptable object. Go down one more to that. We just need the base editor. So custom editor. Yeah, so it's literally just custom editor. Obviously, as you've been building this, you've been adding more constraints along the way. So yeah.
And wondering, am I doing the right thing here? Along the way.
Yeah, as long as it works, that's fine. Yeah.
So I don't need.
Yeah.
These.
Yeah, if you just delete all of them and then click on thing again, it'll auto show you what you need. So delete that, implement the thing collection, then custom editor will turn red, and then if it is there's nothing to override. Okay, so now we just override draw, I guess. So okay. Override. Is there a draw function? Okay.
Draw, probably not. That's probably one of the inheritors.
Okay, we can just on inspector GUI then. All of this was just because I just literally wanted one value. I didn't know where it was. So for all of this, all we need is a So on a I'm gonna go one more level because I wanted to simplify this because this isn't the point of the exercise. So do after go to custom editor, go into that, add that class. Yeah, and then right at the, so scroll down. I want to see if there's a T contract item here somewhere.
I don't think so.
Well, there's a generic T being passed in. I was curious if it's being used for anything.
No, I don't think so. Not here.
Okay, so then just right there after 446, just do something called public abstract class simple editor. And we'll just use that as like whenever you want a really quick editor that's for testing stuff. I'm sure we'll come back to this idea again. Yeah, and this is just going to implement your custom editor. So do a T there. So simple editor T. And full colon custom editor. Yep. And then T there. And then curly brackets. And then the only bit I actually really wanted, if you want to say protected T item, yeah, that'll ask you to put a constraint. So we'll come back to that. Protected T item, and then do an on enable and set item equal to. And then item is equal to in round brackets T and then target. Yeah.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I think it thinks you're inside of a class or something. I don't know where the context is. I think you're not far enough outside of the. That's why you're getting weird editor stuff. This public class simple editor is inside of another class, I think. Yeah. Target lowercase, I think. Yeah. And then that's going to act for a constraint. So on 488, right, where T full colon unity engine that object. Right. Okay. So for all of that, we can now pop back over where we were, and we can do literally the only thing I really needed from this is change that to simple editor. And you know what? We'll even do the F12 and simple editor again. We'll just do one last thing. We'll just do the draw function just to make it easier. Yeah, so just make a public void draw, and then it takes in T item. Yep. And this is going to be semicolon, no method for that, just abstract. So public abstract void and then a semicolon. And then last but not least, do an on inspector GUI.
Abstract again?
No, this one's the real deal. Yeah. And inside of there, just call draw and pass in item. That should be all the basics so that we hide away the stuff that's irrelevant.
Should this be override?
That should, yeah.
Okay. Do I need to do the base dot?
No, you don't need to.
Okay.
You only need that if we're doing other stuff. So just capital I for that for item, and we can now pop back over. Right. With all of that in place, pop back over to here. This is now simplified. You can delete the on inspector GUI. Yeah, exactly. Implement that. And now we have a simple draw thing with the collection with which you're drawing. All we need is draw a thing. Here's the thing we're drawing. Let's go. So from here, now, for each thing in item dot things. Right. Then I don't use the curlies for this. I just write in the next line, draw thing. And then pass in the thing.
Oh.
And can you remember the shortcut for this?
Nope. Nice.
So option enter, yeah, enter, and just enter a few times. There you go. Now we have a place to draw a thing. And this is where we'll do the bit that that we're talking about. So if we go down 22 and do interface thing drawer. Yep. And what we're going to do is we'll just leave that there for now. And then on make another thing called editor thing drawer. Oh, it's a class, sorry. Oh. Yeah, and that's implement thing drawer. Cool. And then one last bit of plumbing in simple editor. Pop in there. And we'll just do an init function. So public abstract void init, or create or setup or some variant of do the starting bits. Yeah, semicolon, and then just call that after the item on enable on 454. Now first we have to call it. So back in simple editor.
Oh.
So after 454, call init. And then finally, thing collection editor, will now be asked to implement that. So it'll turn red. Yeah. And then we can say on line 11 above that, just write thing drawer underscore drawer.
Where?
Just make a variable. Just a variable anywhere outside, inside the class itself. Oh. So above line 11. Yeah. So this is thing drawer underscore drawer, for example. Yeah, semicolon at the end of that. And then inside the init, drawer equals new editor thing drawer. And finally, on 26, thing.draw, and then pass in the drawer. And then we'll actually do something that actually does something on screen. Capital D on that. And yeah, and that doesn't exist, so you have to make it. Yeah, you can just delete the not implemented portion for now. That should now be fine. So I don't know why that's red. Maybe it's not public. I'm not sure. Should be fine.
It was not.
Oh, not that one. Sorry, not that one. It's the the interface doesn't have it. Sorry. On line 32, that should be void draw. Oh, sorry, no, I'm getting confused myself. Sorry, never mind. Go to F12 on draw there on 26, and oh, I see what it is. I know what it is. Move these two out. Sorry, move out thing drawer. Just 30. Move it out to its own method. I figured it out. Yeah, that one should be its own method, its own class. It'll give you the option to move to type. Move to thing drawer. Yeah. Yeah. Now that can't exist in the editor thing because it needs to be used by things themselves. So that's what that error is. So if we pop out now, the thing drawer and thing should both live outside editor. Everything else should live inside editor. Right. Okay. So that's now, at least that's fine. Now the last thing should be the interface needs to be public, which it might complain about. That's a small one. Once everything is, yeah, that might say interface isn't public or something. Yeah, it's not public. So that's all that error is.
Public.
Yeah, exactly. And now everything should finally be working and not red once it clears itself. You've now moved the editor outside of the editor function. That needs to be inside of the editor folder. I think so. That's what it seems to think.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right. So for all of that, we actually have the plumbing. This is all of the architecture done. Now we can actually do things. But hopefully I'll show you why all of this was important. In the scene, just make an object now that is a thing collection. And yeah, pop a thing collection script on it. So we now have, we haven't done anything with it. That's entirely fine. But we have a thing now with a custom editor script to draw with, and we can now begin the process of doing editor stuff. And hopefully we'll see now as we build this, there's a place for everything now. There's a dedicated spot where things go. So if we pop back over to the editor script, we'll see that this is, so the thing collection is quite clean at the moment. It's just a collection of things. And then go into thing, into individual thing. I think we have to serialize it. So put a serialized field attribute above that, the actual line 5, or serializable or serializable. There you go. Yeah. So that just says this is a type of thing that can be drawn in the editor, and then we draw it in the editor using some kind of drawer. And now with all of that, we can decide what we're drawing. So If you refresh that, that should hopefully get rid of all the errors, and it shouldn't be throwing anymore. Oh, what's that error? We forgetting to assign something? For each thing in item.things. None of that should be throwing exceptions at the moment. Which is null? Is it an item or is it a...
Is this not?
That's serialized. That's referencing a serialized thing. Go to the custom editor. Maybe we forgot to. Maybe the order's wrong in that in the simple editor. So on enable, cache the item, do the init, on inspect SQI, draw. All of that looks fine. What could be null? Is it the drawer? Okay, so go to the thing collection editor, and then just it is. No, maybe it isn't. So just on 26, right in there on 26, new editor thing drawer, just in case that's null. I don't think it is, but just double check that. So where you've got underscore drawer, replace inside 26, replace underscore drawer there with new editor thing drawer. Yeah, just see if that stops errors. If that's the case, it means our init is happening too late. Yeah, so we're initializing the editor drawer too late. We need to do that earlier is basically what that means. So that init function needs to happen. We can do this as a bit of a hack. So on 463, do bool is initialized. Change that from abstract to virtual on 465. And actually, I'm trying to figure out how to keep this simple. Draw is, yeah, so we'll initialize, yeah, do curly brackets there instead of round brackets. Actually, undo that. Sorry, this is the problem with trying to do this live and trying to think this through. Get rid of the is initialized. We won't use that. That's probably too complicated for what we're doing. We'll just make sure that init is called early. So I think init should be, so we'll say we want that called in on enable before draw. So draw should only happen after. So if item is, so on 461, we'll say, just say if item is null return. I guess that should probably not draw then if it's never been assigned. Capital I item. Yeah. I'm not gonna say it's always. Oh yeah, just say if item. I forgot this is a unity. Is it a unity type? It's not a unity type. It is, yes. Yeah, if item. So if not item return on 461. So theoretically, that should, if the item's not there, don't draw it. Otherwise, do draw it. If it does draw it, it'll only happen if the initialize is true. If the initialize is true, we can continue. Hopefully, that's no errors, and we can get to what I'm actually trying to get to. So much plumbing just to get to like a place we can talk about code.
I like how it's called simple editor.
Yeah. Well, the whole point is it's meant to hide the complexity so that the other stuff is simpler outside of it. So theoretically, if you click away from thing collection and click back, it should do nothing, but nothing should be erroring. Okay. That's all we ever wanted, right? So hopefully now we can start to think this through. So if we pop back in now, so we can actually close that simple editor. We're not going to look at him again, or the custom editor. So we close all of this. All we need now is the thing editor for now, and we'll come back to the other stuff later. And I'm just out of curiosity, can we change 26 to underscore drawer without it throwing an error? That would be nice if we could. It would just simplify it a bit more. So now if we click away and click back, will that throw any issues? Okay, good. That's what I was wondering. Right. Okay, so last but not least, move that init up to 12. So line method 13, yeah, just move that whole function up because he's kind of out of the way. He's just the starting thing. Look at you using the fancy move functions.
Yeah, I learned that from Jason W.
Right. So now let's stop and actually talk this through, and we'll demonstrate what the whole point of this exercise. There is something called a thing, and then there's a collection of things. This could be any of your concepts. It could be dictionaries. It could be your items. It doesn't matter. There's a thing and there's a collection of things. The way I handle drawing something like this is we make an editor that knows how to draw those things. And then we have a function that takes in that collection and tries to draw it. How do we draw it? Well, for each one of the things in it, call draw. And then when we try to draw it, we hand it the way in which it should look. So now we have a place that says you are an individual X. We're going to draw you, and this is the methods with which we use to draw you. And so there's now a dedicated place in code for each one of these different concepts. And so we'll start to build this up to kind of demonstrate how it gets back to where you were, but things should now somewhat make sense. So the first thing is, say we wanted to draw each thing as just its name in a label in a box. We'll just start with a really simple version. If we pop over to the simple editor, sorry, not simple editor, the editor thing drawer.
Wait, what?
So close everything right now except for this one, just to simplify to start. So close all, right click on the tab for this, you can click close all but this. Close others, second one. There you go, so we're clean enough. Now the one on 14, editor thing drawer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start doing drawing related stuff here. So the first thing I guess is we might want to do all those stylistic stuff again, the ones that like you have with your custom base editor. So something I wasn't going to cover, but it's probably valuable seeing that you're now reusing code across multiple different modules. It would be nice for you to be able to keep all of those editor features without having to. So we talked about composition, where a thing is versus a thing has. If ever with interfaces, there's multiple ones, but if a thing is something, you're stuck with that chain. And the problem you're currently having is all of your editors follow a route where all of your fun toys like the draw label, draw box, draw whatever, it must be in that chain. So instead of it being part of that chain, if we have a thing called like my toolbox of stuff that draws things nicely, we can give that to anybody we want, and then you don't have to have it be part of the chain. So just to demonstrate that, if you do go to make another class underneath this one and call it like editor tool. I call it utilities myself. I go editor utilities, but it doesn't matter. It's what I'm going to call it. Yeah. And then inside of here, we'll put all of the stuff that we want like a nice drawing version of. So for example, we could say public static void label. And then that would just be taking a string, and we'll draw the editor GUI dot label something. So string text or label or whatever. Yeah. And here, you can just do editor GUI layout dot label field and text. Yeah. And then as a second one, just we'll just do row as one last one, and then I'll demonstrate what I'm doing with that. So yeah, public static void row.
Can I say start row?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then same thing, paste, or for the edit for end. Yeah, and then one thing I like to do is on 15 there, inside of start row, do string style. And then pass style into there, yeah. And then finally, to do something called draw box on 14. Or yeah, there's fine. Public static draw box. Yeah, and void, and it's going to take in an action for context. Yeah, there you go. I call it content, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And now that's going to ask you to implement that. Yeah. And this is the bit that you were at earlier, but now it's kind of a smaller context. If you write start box, start row, sorry, yeah, and then context dot invoke on the next line. Sorry, content. It's content, the one you've got on 17. Yeah, and then next line end row. Yeah, and then do a question mark after content just so it doesn't fire if it's null. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. So now now that we have this, you can move this out. So we could say make the class itself static. So public static class editor utilities. Yeah, and you can then move him out. So just Alt Enter to move into his own script. Move to editor utilities. Yeah. And now what you can do is if we pop over to our editor collection, our thing collection editor, rather than this having to implement something which has box and draw and all that stuff, if on line 7 you write using static editor utilities, it will now act as if it's implementing that thing. So for example, you could now you could just, if you wanted to, for example, on line 20, just write label hello.
Keep it real. Hello world.
Yeah. Oh, classic programmer stuff, right?
Yeah.
So now if that refreshes, it should show the, yeah, there you go. So you'll see how it's the same thing you had, only now anytime you write that line, you could put it on any script editor and you don't have to have it extend from that chain of stuff. But
it's funny, I use the shit out of using static stuff right now. And I never thought of doing that because I've always been a little frustrated about having that inheritance chain for that, but okay.
Well, yeah, you can now at some point you could move it all into that, and then you could use that once and clear out the child root object stuff. Yeah. So with all of that in place, what I actually wanted that for is in our editor thing drawer, we can now do the using static editor utilities. So in the thing drawer, so in the one over to the right, the drawer. Now this can using static editor utilities, so we now have in our drawer ways with which to draw various things. Right. So now we have a place to draw editor stuff. And so the first question becomes, what is it? Let's give ourselves a very simple example of something that we might want to draw about a thing. So I guess if we pop over to our thing, we can give it, say, a name and a Boolean for is show details or something. So yeah, let's go to the thing collection, and then inside of that, there's a thing.
And yes, the color change is either flux or a Mac thing, and I have not yet figured out how to turn it off.
So we'll give thing a public bool for is showing details or something. And we'll give it a public string name, and then give it a string called details. That's the example, just for. So we have 3 things to play with. Yeah. Cool. So now inside here on 15, we could say if show details drawer.draw details. That doesn't exist, so we'll make it, but just as an example. Yeah. And yes. So and then if we pop back over here to editor thing drawer, we could say yeah, make that. And for this, we'll just say label details. Yeah. So that is fine for that. And if we have a look at our we'll also have to give ourselves a way to actually build these. So as a test in our thing drawer, or where's our thing collection editor? As a first test to keep this simple, we'll give ourselves an array to play with, and then have the stuff that it's drawing underneath it. So above 20, you can just do your draw object or draw field. So we'll just say field, draw field. We'll add that to our editor utilities, and then just pass in the string for whatever underscore thing. I think underscore things. I think we called it. Yeah. So put that in a quote because that's the field we're drawing.
That.
Yeah. Well, if you create it here, it creates it here. So we want to cut that and move it to the editor utilities.
You know, I never use cut.
I 90% of the stuff I do, I don't even use copy much. I use cut all of the time.
I'm
But
always
it's normally
copy
to move things.
paste. I think it's because I can't easily reach the X while also holding command. It's just awkward for me. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, so just do static void here. Private static void. I mean, on draw field. Draw field itself should be static.
Oh, sorry.
And actually, we'll do this simply. Just write serialized property instead of string because I don't want to keep this clean. So on 28, serialized property there. Yeah.
Here?
Yep.
See, now that's something else that I'm not sure what
call this
okay.
prop on 28. We actually do because you're using it, but you don't realize it. On 28, there, prop. And then write on 30, header GUI layout dot property field and prop. So now if we head back over to our editor, we should be able to draw, instead of draw underscore things, it should be serialized object dot find property, I think it is. It's either find it, so it's lowercase s, and I think it's either find or just find, maybe I can't remember. Yeah, and then pass in underscore things there.
In quotes
again,
or
as
quotes?
In quotes.
Okay.
So that, why is it? Oh, is it not static? Maybe it's not static. Oh, it's not public. Okay, yeah, one or the other. Right. So now, if we have over in our inspector, it should show the array now, and then it should draw the things in the array underneath it as labels. Oh, it doesn't like something. That's something with the editor scripting, right? You just get null spammed on a semi-regular basis whenever Unity's not happy. So that one's fine. Maybe the field name isn't matching exactly. What do we call it in things collection? Is it underscore things or is it just things? Inside of things collection. Oh, there's no underscore. It's just things.
Uppercase thing.
No, it's the field, so it's things lowercase. There.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'm going to do you a favor because this kind of thing will happen a lot. I will stop it spamming exceptions. There's a quick thing we can do for that. So inside of the field drawing thing, so in draw field, inside of the custom editor utilities on the right. So right around that on line 30, right around that the thing, try curly brackets. Yeah, so and then
try that.
Yeah, lowercase t, but yeah, try and the curly brackets. And then after the other bracket, write catch, and then curly brackets. Now, here what we're going to do is draw a little warning box. So on 27, do public static void draw box, or draw warning, I guess. Yeah. And then string message inside of warning. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
In this case, we're gonna put in exactly string message, and then here it's editor GUI layout dot help box, I think, is it?
Yeah.
Help box. Yeah. Message comma, and then it's box type, which is
for message type.
Message type dot warning. Yeah, that's fine. And then what we're going to say on 41 there, where it says warning, we could say, so this will be the property not existing. So we can do this two ways. So copy 33 down to 43 and undo back until it was just without the try. So we're gonna make two. We're gonna keep the old one and add a new one. Oh, that's going to do the warning too. Fuck. Okay, never mind. Sorry, paste it again. Just paste it twice. We just need draw field without try and draw field with try. We're going to just do two versions to make this simpler. So change serialized property there to string. Leave the try, leave the catch on that. Oh, yeah, one of them. Yeah, that was fine. Whichever one. Yeah. So then string prop for this one. Now, I'm getting confused. The string one should be on the one with the try. Serialized one should be without. So that should be property, block property. Yeah. And this one is a string. And now a line above 20 of 37, above that, right, var prop equals. Okay, well, there's a few things here. So it's string. So on 33, we'll go down to the top because there's a few things here. On 33, the first parameter of that should be serialized object obj. I know this is getting like way off topic, but I think it occurs to me this will be valuable to you. So serialized object is a type, say obj, comma, and then string prop. Yeah, and now here what we can say is var prop equals obj.find. Oh, there's two props, sorry. So that's prop name, I guess, change on 33. Yeah, prop name. So now it's var prop equals obj.find prop name. Yeah, and then pass that in. That's it, exactly, that's fine. So now what'll happen is it'll try to draw the field with that name. If it fails, it'll throw a warning. And then on 42, we could say no property exists and then prop name. And then inside of curly, well, do it the curly bracket way because it's a bit cleaner. Do the inside of that.
Wait.
So delete the plus and the thing.
Yeah.
And then put a $sign in front of the question mark no on the other side. Right there, yeah. And then, yeah, curly brackets inside of the after exists. So no property exists, curly brackets, and then prop name. And then end the closing quote there. Right. That should all be fine. I don't know why find's not working. Is it just check if it's lowercase? I don't know what the whichever one it was before. It's the one we're using in the other find property. Okay. Sure. Right. So with all of that in place, if we go, it should now. If we go back to our editor, our thing collection editor, this is theoretically what we should have done. Is if you want to draw a property, a field for a property, but you don't know if it exists. So this whole thing here, instead of draw field, you can now just write draw field things. Sorry, you have to write property serialized object comma things. So just put a comma there, exactly, yeah. And the method for this madness is this, which is if you save and go back to the editor, it should be fine, nothing has changed. But if you copy that line, paste it, and then just write gibberish for the property name, just any string. Now, instead of spamming a bunch of errors for a property that it can't find, it should theoretically give you a little, we tried to draw the fads, it doesn't exist, therefore you should fix that. So it just makes the editor less broken-y when you're working with it going forward. Again, major tangent, but at least that's something nicer, I guess. So the only reason I did all of this is just to say that we now have a thing that we can draw. We have an array and we can draw stuff in it. So if you go to the size of that things array and just give it some values, just like 1 or 2 objects.
I can't.
Oh, we're not serializing the damn. Ugh. So yeah, we have to wrap our in our simple editor. That's what we need the apply properties and update thing for. So around our onInspector GUI, we want to do on above 461 serialized object dot update lowercase s. Yeah, dot update properties or something. Not update. What's the 2? There's apply and then there's something else. You'll have it in one of your other editors. I always forget the order of these.
I don't think I've actually used this. Well, there's one other editor where I think I say I don't think I use this. where I say I'm pretty sure there's a comment that just says, "I don't think I do this anymore," or this. I don't think this does anything. Let's see. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, update and apply property. Yes, it is update. Yeah.
See, I'm pretty sure this. But I didn't cut it out just in case. I was like, I don't know. I'll just leave this here.
Yeah. So that should now wrap around the draw at the end.
Okay. I still don't know if it does anything, but in that context.
Well, if it lets you serialize the array, you'll know it does something.
All right.
There you go. So that should now let you change some values. And if you just type names and stuff, it should, yeah. So you'll see here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're now back after all of that work to like the very basics of what you already have, a array of stuff, drawing things. But hopefully now we can do this in a way that's like easier to reason about. So first things first, when we're drawing these things, it's too hard to see them as just plain text. It'd be nice to draw them in a box. And that's where we now have our draw box function. So inside of draw item, where we're doing in our thing collection editor, I'd also just do a nice right click, close all but this, because we're kind of simplifying the other stuff now. Close others, yeah. So now what you could do is you can wrap 29 in draw box.
What do you mean wrap it?
Yeah, and now do your, so what you can do is here, you could say the round brackets, arrow, curly brackets inside of where you are there. So open and close round brackets. Then do an arrow. And do curly brackets. And then press enter. Oh, sorry, go into the curly brackets and press enter. Yeah, and then you can close that and then put it in there, yeah. And you can move that back onto the same line. There we go. So now it says to draw the thing, I draw a box, and then I use the thing drawer to draw whatever the thing I'm drawing is. So now that should draw a box around each of those three things. Oh, we haven't put a theme name in. So the first parameter of that, the last parameter for draw box. So go to draw box, and we can say in start row, inside the quotes for start row, you just write the word box. Files here that is inbuilt in Unity.
There we go.
Now you can try help box lowercase. I can't remember what all of these are. You have to look them up. So you see, I mean, there's just like slightly different styled boxes for the same kind of structural thing. So that's one. And then again, just for my sanity, because it'll cause errors, copy 18 to 21 twice and have one that takes in style and one that doesn't. And don't use the equals thing because it'll throw errors. Yeah, so if that one doesn't have it, yeah, and then get rid of it there, and then get rid of the equals on that one. So now you can either provide a style or not provide a style. That'll get rid of all those yellow errors. Yeah. So back in our thing collection editor now, we can start getting to the bits that matter, which is you saying like, I have a button that toggles whether these things draw or not. That's the whole point of all of this exercise is inside of the editor thing drawer on 15. So right now we're drawing the label. On the next line after this, what we could do is we can change this so that it can draw the item and know whether or not it should draw the details. So what we can do here is, let's say, make another function. So that's called draw details. So do a second one called draw label, for example. So copy and paste, so draw details and draw label. And if they both have the same contract, you'll need to name them differently. So yeah, draw details and draw label. Yeah, and just copy the label line into both of those. And yeah, some string. Cool. So now we can go to our thing itself. So just a shortcut for you for that one. I think Control T does that. If you write Control T and type thing, it should just jump to the thing script. I don't know if yours is the same as mine, but there is a pop up for that. Yeah, just write thing. That's all of the thing related scripts. You can just jump straight to it. So now the thing itself knows whether or not it's drawing its details. So what we can do is we can choose now by the thing what it wants to draw. So for example, above line 15, we could say drawer.draw label. So we'll always draw the name. Oh, they might have to be added to the contract on the interface, but that's fine. Yeah, you can just pass in name there. Yeah, it'll ask you to make it and do all that. Yeah, automatically do it for you, which is nice. So that works. And then if show details, change that to draw details. So with that in place, as it's like a small step, we should now have this thing with its details. And if you uncheck the show details on one of the array elements, it won't draw it. So you still have this kind of relationship of I'm a thing and I know myself whether or not my stuff should be shown. But now it's being handled where, because if you notice now, the thing collection editor never needs to change no matter how much details you add to the thing, right? So if you go to, so we'll go in order, go to the thing collection editor. If you think about it, nothing in here needs to change if you add another field to a thing, right? Because he's just saying, draw the thing whatever way you draw it. And then the thing has all of its own information and it has a thing that knows how to draw itself. And so if at any stage you want to add floats and bools and other stuff here, you do that. And then you say, if I should draw this, if I should draw this, draw these buttons, draw these things, and you do all of that inside of the thing drawer, the editor drawer, then that means the other script, the editor will never change. This one doesn't have to change, and you can just add the features in. So you've now got a place that keeps all of that code separate, so you don't have to kind of go through this giant building tree of all the hypotheticals. All of that lives in here now. Now, I know that might be easy to say, oh, just do it this way now. It's easy. But I understand there's a lot going on. But I'm just saying that from a layers and contract perspective, if you just look at how things talk to each other and ask yourself, what if I wanted to draw X, or what if I wanted to add Y? Ask yourself if you can see where it would be, and if you could see what ripple effects that'll have on the rest of your system. And you'll notice that it should keep things relatively simple now. Things only exist in one place, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think tomorrow this might make more sense to me.
Yeah, to be fair, we like the problem was that to get to this point, we did have to go on a bunch of tangents, which kind of made things more confusing. I'm aware of that. So
yeah, no, but that's okay. This is the thing. I know that it's a huge tangent, and I glanced earlier. No El Sporco. This isn't directly randomizing name items, but it relates to that. We're getting to there. We had to take I don't know, 18,000 steps backwards. So I have to redo my entire items system. It'll be better, but part of that also means redoing the way I show dictionaries and in the editor scripts. And I mean, part of the reason why I know this is important, because previous to when we started this tangent, I was working on just showing the dictionary on the item objects, and that's you select the item object, the scriptable object, it shows the dictionary. Perfect. Do the same thing for the item attributes, for stats and skills, for anything else. Great. All in the scriptable objects. But my next step after all that is going to be to make an editor window that lets you edit all of them at once. So if you can say, okay, select all the weapons, add a key value pair here, and do this, and it just does everything at once. And to do that effectively, I still would need this code to display the same UI.
Exactly. Yeah, and what's cool about this too is because everything's now in a thing drawer, you can do what you did before, which is say, for each thing in entire project, grab all things, for each one, draw using this drawer. And suddenly, all the same code used to draw it in one inspector is now used to draw it in every possible inspector because it's
Yeah.
the same piece of code used across the board. And just to get it slightly closer to what you want, if you open up the instead of doing the show details thing here, if we do say on 16 cut that function.
The whole.
Sorry, just 16 down to 19.
Ah.
And we'll change this to like actually just write draw details. We'll actually put it in there. We'll just change that function a little bit. And we'll pass in, so in this case, pass in this and then comma should draw, I think. That might do it. This, comma, and then the show details. Yeah. And then delete details as a thing there, as a string. And we'll change the contract to this, and I'll explain why in a second. So draw details now has that. So you'll have to go to the drawer. So that's now not a string for details. That's now a thing, comma, bool should draw. So you can see that now gives the power to the thing for drawing it, and then put a ref on that bool. We just need it on the bool specifically. Yeah. And then do the same on the other thing in the thing itself. So ref on that. And now if we head over to the editor thing drawer, this is where we can put the button back that you had. So now if you delete draw details there and draw, actually you can delete both of those. And the one above it, yep. And now implement the method. And we'll just put a button back in our tools. So F12 on our click on editor utilities on 2 to jump into it. The utilities one, the one on the using statement.
Ah.
Yeah. And add a button here. So that's what a public static bool pressed or public static bool button. Yeah. And then string label. And return editor GUI dot button, I think. I think it's not in layout. I think it's in editor GUI.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, that's not GUI.
Maybe it's editor layout.
GUI layout, probably. Yeah. So many. There we go. Label, yeah, and then just return that. So now in our editor drawer here, in draw details, we can say on 18, if button, and then you can do your should draw question mark. And say hide or show. Exactly, yeah, you beat me to it. And then here we say, so just in front of that, so it should be if, oh yeah, and then you can say should draw equals not should draw. And then finally after that, if should draw, and then just write label thing.details. Oh yeah, exactly, that works too.
Yeah, see, I can be taught.
Yeah, see, like the thing is, you know exactly what to do from this point on, right? Because now you've got a place to put it. All of this is stuff that you're familiar with, so exactly right.
Yeah, I think I have. I'm gonna have to go through it again and really, yeah, I could figure it out. I'm pretty sure.
Because if you think about it, all we've really done is move stuff. Like this code is exactly the same kind of code you would write. I've just moved where things are, but hopefully you see now that the relationship between the three things is such that here is where we take a thing and decide how it looks. Then the other editor takes this thing, uses it to draw all of the things it needs to, and then finally thing decides whether or not it wants to draw. And so you if you wanted to override it inside of thing to say actually this, so if you go back to thing just as an object.
Am I?
Oh, we are. Sorry, I'm blind. In here, you have all the information you need. So at any time, you can write something that says if show details is false, don't actually draw the details at all, and suddenly now the item itself decides whether or not to do certain things. You know. So you have control in here. You could have a type of thing that's like a read-only thing, and it never actually draws the details as buttons. It only draws it as read-only labels. So you can have the thing itself decide things about how it draws if you wanted to. It just means there's now like a place for every part of this, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go through it again in the morning because it's almost midnight and I'm tired.
Yeah, and I now really have now a meeting in 2 hours. 2 hours, cool. uh,
Well, all right. Thank you for this. We'll see how much I
yeah,
remember tomorrow.
no problem.
I'll
The
probably
bit I
figure it
was
out.
hoping to get to, which unfortunately we didn't, is that you were right when you said that you don't need to specifically have all of the individual fields stored sometimes. Like depending on what you're doing, what's often done is you have something called an object that's just literally type object. And rather than storing an int, a bool, a float, or whatever, you store object and then you cast it to T object back to whatever you want. The problem with that, of course, is I kind of get the indication that you might have multiple things per thing. So in a single one of your objects, you might have both a float and a bool or whatever. That's true. You will have to do a lot more copy and paste.
Yeah, maybe. Good night, Raphael. And hi, by the way, too. I didn't get to say hello. Yeah, yeah, and some of the things are not traditional objects, but they're my objects. But and then they need to use like the pop out that gives all the linked, stuff and other magical things. So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
but I will see if I can get it to work, and if not, then I'll figure it out. Figure something out.
Yeah.
Message you on Discord and say, "Hey, I need help now."
Broke everything. God damn it.
Yeah.
Right, I better have a coffee because I have to pretend that I've been alert and awake and working for the last few hours. So
Well, you have been working and alert and awake, so yeah.
Well, you're no, not quite alert and awake. Like this, like
Right.
I've never worn my lazy T-shirt on stream before. This is just my like don't care sitting at home shirt.
Hear that, audience? This is something special. This is like a thing.
This is my lounging. Normally, I'm sitting here in the dark like this. I normally don't have like the shirt with the nice pin and all of that stuff. This is my usual state of affairs.
See, I need to get a new stand and my freaking camera fixed so that I can have a nice camera because it's actually quite dark in here. But the IMAX webcam does its thing to make me brighter. But it's fairly dark in here. Anyways, time to sleep. So I'm gonna say goodbye to you, and I'm gonna say goodbye to the folks over here.
Right, catch everyone next time, I guess. Good luck.
Thanks, Jason. Wow, that was a lot. So, and me for all. That was a tangent, but I think it's okay, and I'll tell you why. Let me turn myself down and turn the. Turn this down. All right, so that was a tangent, and it was okay, and it was okay because it will lead me to a better place if I can remember how to do all that stuff, and I probably will figure it out. I have some questions about how am I going to do a few things, but I'll figure those things out. And the whole point was that when you click on an item here, it's not going to work right now, but it would show you dictionaries, and it would show you all the stuff over here. Now, it's not showing right now because we did code stuff and changed it, but you can now set your dictionary values for the staff or for the spear. And then we'll get to the copy section where you can copy the structure and paste it to the rest, or paste the content to the rest, stuff like that. And then we'll get to the stats and skills, and there will be an editor, not a window, just a window that will essentially let you select all weapons or all whatevers and do adds and subtractions to the dictionary for all of those, so that there's you can just basically say all weapons, add a new key value called damage or whatever it might be. Yeah, it's probably not gonna be damage because for damage you use the stat and skills section, which isn't quite there yet. So, but yes, baby steps, learning along the way. And I'm sorry I didn't get to say hi to everybody. El Sporco, you came in. I didn't get to say hi to you. Manon Jinder, I didn't get to say hi to you. Hello. Not sure if you're still here. I don't know what's going on with the screen. But I'm going to go grab myself a drink. I know you're not supposed to drink before bed, but I'm going to, because I'm a rebel. And I don't follow the rules. I mean, I stop at stop signs because I think it's important to stop from stop signs. Yep, it's totally true. I mean, you stand. We all stand on the shoulders of giants, and our own. Oh, hey, Jack. Did you just get here? Our own feet, our shoulders we're standing on, and the more we learn, the better we get, and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, honestly, just getting to that point where, you know, having the helper tools for the label and all that stuff is been very nice, and then being able to expose that to a static rather than inherit would be nice as well. Yeah, it's called Talk to Jason Storey. That's how you learn some useful editor stuff. Actually, I want to say there was a website once, but I can't remember. But it is quite late and I'm tired, so my brain's not working at full steam. Yeah. I can't hear the lullaby music. Is it? Let me turn this up. Yeah. That'll put you to sleep. Isn't that what Jason Wyman did for a long time? He designed internal tools and systems for Sony, was it? Alright. Time to go make that beverage. Thank you all. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow night. I do another thing on Wednesday nights. And Thursday night, I think I'm going to be driving somewhere. Or going to bed early so that I can wake up early Friday at like 3 a.m. to drive somewhere. But so I don't think I will be streaming until Friday night. I'm not actually sure about the scope of that, but I would think it would go beyond, most likely. It would probably start with simple, like entry level would probably be simple tooling. But as you get more advanced, I bet it would be more like bigger projects, extending the editor in weird ways, maybe even going into non-editor stuff that you extends. Is Wednesday D&D night? You know, I've never played D&D. I've always been intrigued, but never played it. There was a work group that played it. I didn't want to participate though. They seemed very intense and established. What? You both play D&D on Wednesday nights? Yeah, I need to. Well, first I need to not have a full-time job, and then I could do different hours. I've been starting at 8 usually because that's like a safe time where I know I can almost certainly get there. Earlier, I might be walking or eating or still doing some late night meetings for the job, and it gives me 2-3 hours generally, or in this case almost 4. And then weekends I try to do daytime on Saturday, and sometimes I'll do a noon stream after the game dev show. And then Fridays I've been doing kind of 6 p.m. Although this Friday I've got to drive 5 hours or 6 hours and then drive back same day. So I'm going to be tired after that. I expect to be back like 4 or 5, so I'll probably do a stream but take a nap first because I will be tired. But it might not be scheduled on YouTube because I would prefer not to miss a stream that's scheduled. So there you go. All right, gotta go. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you later.